Welcome to the Wellness Nurse podcast, where we uncover the secrets to living longer, healthier, more fulfilling lives. I'm your host, Ros Lindsey, a registered nurse who is passionate about your health and longevity. Today, you're in for an extraordinary treat as you meet Jo Borton, a remarkable woman who embodies the spirit of active aging and resilience. Listen in, be inspired, and take home some very practical wisdom on leading a fulfilling life as we get older. Jo's story is nothing short of inspirational. Imagine surviving breast cancer, then walking the legendary Camino Trail just 6 months after major knee surgery. This retired physiotherapist is living proof that with determination and the right mindset, we can overcome seemingly insurmountable health challenges. From creating meaningful family traditions to finding innovative ways to volunteer, Jo demonstrates how she has infused her life with purpose and joy and shows us how we can too. Welcome, Jo. It's so lovely to have time together this morning just to explore your story. So thank you so much.
Oh, thank you for having me. This is a privilege, and I'm actually delighted to give you a little bit of my story. I think everyone has a story, and you don't often get a chance to say much about your story because you just give people snippets of your life.
That's right.
And
Yeah.
So thank you.
My pleasure. So you've walked the Camino, which is a really long walk in Spain, 3 times, and the most recent time was after major reconstructive surgery on your knee. And I'm wondering what motivates you to take on these really big physical challenges.
Look, I think I really, I've always been a walker. And I love walking and I love being outside. And, you know, I've had a few issues through my life that have been quite challenging. And during one of them, I was having treatment. And at that point, I watched a friend doing the coast to coast in England. And then I watched a series on it as well. And I thought, oh my gosh, if I get through this treatment, I'm going to do that. So it was kind of a goal that set me off. I never ever thought I'd be a long distance walker. And but I absolutely love it. It's a very peaceful time. It's quiet, it's noisy, it's busy, it's tiring, frustrating, but it's actually very special. It's a special time in your life, yeah.
How far did you walk? Let's look at just one of those walks to begin with. How many kilometres are we
right.
talking?
So the first Camino that I did, I was lucky to do with my daughter and a good friend. It is the Camino de Santiago, which goes from Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port in France, and you walk over the Pyrenees and then to Santiago, which is where St. James's bones are buried. And it is a pilgrimage walk. It's been there for hundreds of years. And then we walked on from there to Finisterre, which is on the coast, because we felt like we wanted to finish at the coast.
Right.
So that was over 1,000 kilometres that we did.
Hang on there. I mean, you can say that quickly. It's over 1,000 kilometres. Jo walked over 1,000 kilometres.
Yeah, we walked.
How long did that take?
So it took us about 7 weeks to do that 1,000 kilometres. Yeah, it was very hot. At times, it was really hot, and I actually did find it quite exhausting because I was only a few years out of my recovery from having my chemo treatment, because that was from my breast cancer that I had. And so I probably, looking back, it might have been a bit too soon, but it was a chance. When a chance comes to do something like this, you've got to grab it with both hands and go. And I luckily had my daughter who looked after me amazingly on that trip. So when I got in from my long, hard day, she'd just say, go in the shower, Mum, get on the bed, go to sleep. I'll get you some food. I'll look up, she was just amazing.
Incredible.
So I'm
what a blessing.
very lucky. Yeah.
Wow. And that helped to make it possible for you.
I couldn't have done it on my own. I actually don't like doing a lot of these things by myself. I like to share. I'm a bit of a sharer with everything I have.
Well, that sort of doubles the joy, doesn't it, when you
Oh,
get
I
to
know.
share the
Yeah,
experience?
absolutely.
It really does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely. And you know, even though you're walking with somebody, you're not actually walking with them all the time, because you could be 50, 100 meters apart and you're in your own little bubble, your own world, doing your own things. But still, you have that person to have a laugh with. And when you're exhausted, buoy you up. And when they're tired, you buoy them up. When you're sick, you've got someone to look after you. It's like a partnership, really.
Yes. Yeah.
It's a team thing.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
And it's also in that shared experience when you come back from doing something so special.
Yes.
You've got that shared experience, and they know there's nobody who fully understands.
No,
Unless
you're quite
they've been
right.
there and done that. And so, yeah, I think it's a huge achievement.
Yes, it is quite hard when you come back from doing one of these long distance walks, where really all you've had to think about every day is actually, where am I going to sleep? Where am I going to get my food? Get up the next day, get dressed, get your bag packed and walk. Find the food along the way. I mean, it's all pretty well set up that you can find stuff, but you do get lost, and some days the shops are not open, and especially in Spain on Sundays, you have to be careful. You've got to carry food, and if you forget, you just have to get to the end. And, you know, so it's, yeah, it's tricky.
The challenges for the day are
For that day.
to find a bed, to walk where you need to go, to eat well.
Yes.
To get there, to reach
It's really important that you look after yourself on these walks every single day, because you're not there just to get through that day. You've actually got a long way to go.
There's another one coming the very next day.
Yeah, well, I mean, and we did see lots of people who, you know, were walking really fast, because I'm not a fast walker, and I'm lucky that my daughter, you know, could walk at the same kind of pace as me, or she's a bit faster than me, but, you know, we could walk together. But we did see lots of people who would walk really quickly, and then a few days later you'd see them, they'd be injured somewhere and they'd have to stop for a few days. So, you know, you do have to pace yourself really carefully, and you have to, you know, you have lots of fun along the way. We have lots of laughs. You know, you meet amazing people from all walks of life who you probably would never get to meet in a normal, you know, life, wherever you may live. But it's just incredible, the experience. And I would say to anyone that if you ever have an opportunity to do a long distance walk, it would be worth doing.
Oh, I wonder if there's any listeners thinking about taking a challenge on like that. There's some beautiful walks, even in Australia. We don't even have to go over. There's so many beautiful long walks here.
Yes.
But yeah, it's something I'd really love to do as well. So I'll be looking.
Yeah, well, one of the
tips.
first walks I did was actually the Great Ocean Road down in Victoria.
Gorgeous.
And
gorgeous.
You know, it's beautiful. So we do have lots of challenges that you can do in Australia. They are really great here.
With this last walk that you did, you didn't know, when you booked the walk, you didn't know that you were going to have knee surgery. Yeah. You could have cancelled that walk and just went, right, I'm out, you know, that's it. You didn't. You're a retired physiotherapist, and I'm wondering how your professional background influenced the approach that you had to that surgery and to the recovery and the rehabilitation afterwards.
Look, you know, we planned this walk, and it was also for my husband's. Before the walk, we were having a celebration in Italy and France with my two daughters and my husband for his 70th. So that was like very important to go on that walk, to do that before the walk. So that was a very special part for us, to be together on a overseas holiday together. And then I fell off my paddleboard and hurt my knee. And I knew instantly I'd done something pretty serious. And I thought, within a few days, I decided I needed to do something about it, because I had this walk to go on, which was 6 months away. Anyway, I saw the surgeon, and he said, look, this is what it's going to be. You're going to be in a brace, non-weight bearing, for 6 weeks. And I thought, oh, that'll be fine. I'll manage that. And, you know, I'll be okay. So I just went full steam ahead into the surgery and everything. But honestly, that rehabilitation in that brace, non-weight bearing, was quite difficult for me. it took a toll on the rest of my body. I'd never had to use crutches with a brace on my leg and, not take any weight. And anyway, luckily a friend gave me a little wheelchair, and that's how I actually ended up getting around on a little wheelchair at home, which was a saving grace. And once I was out of that and could start going, I knew it was going to be strong enough. And I just had the belief that I had this amazing adventure to go on and I was not going to miss out. So I already had that really great positive attitude that I was going to do it. I mean, as I was getting closer to the time, I was thinking, am I going to do this? But, I knew, we planned a lot. I knew I was not going to be carrying a lot of weight because in Spain you can organize to have your bag sent ahead. So each day I did send, a backpack with stuff every day, and that made my life a lot easier, and I knew then I could manage.
Yes, fabulous. The last thing that you really needed was the weight of your bag.
Another 10 kilos on that
on
knee.
your knee.
Yeah.
No, good move.
Oh, it was a brilliant move, I tell you.
A no-brainer in my mind.
Yeah.
Like, do I carry the bag? Do I carry the bag 1,000 kilometers, or do I get somebody to transport it? Yeah, I know exactly what I would do, and I would not be carrying it.
And then all you have to do is carry a day pack, which has got your coats, your wet weather gear, and your food and your water, and emergency supplies if you have an accident or need repairs on blisters or something like that. But that allowed me to enjoy the walk. Otherwise, it would have been huge.
Yes, yeah.
I think I did the first 2 days, I carried a heavier pack. And after those 2 days, it was extremely hilly, this last one we did, extremely hilly. And so after the first 2 days, I thought I have to lighten my load a bit more. So, we made another plan to lighten the load.
A great decision.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
Because it allowed me then to continue and keep going. And it also helped, Sarah, my daughter, because we could pile everything into that one, and then we both had a lighter pack, to carry on the day. So
perfect.
it was awesome. Yeah. Yeah. So I was very lucky the surgeon did give me the okay to go. That was
a question over the trip.
He felt I could do it because I had 2 surgeries previously on either of my knees and recovered really well.
Right.
And I do think it's probably having my physio experience, because I knew exactly how to go about it and what to do.
Yes.
And then I did have a physio come to visit me at home, so that's to just push you along a little bit further, do a few more things that, you think, I'm not quite sure if I'm doing this right or not. So it's always nice to get the backup and the push along, I think, from someone else who's experienced in your rehab. Yeah.
Absolutely. You have such a wonderful, positive attitude, Jo. Not everybody naturally has that positive attitude, and particularly when we're going through difficult sort of medical or health challenges. What would you say to people who are in the midst of a surgical period in their life where, maybe reconstructive surgery for their shoulder or knee, or health challenges such as a cancer diagnosis?
Yeah.
Is there anything that you could, having gone through those experiences, is there anything that you could say, I guess, to encourage people when they're in the midst of those really difficult times?
I think, I was very, very lucky in everything that has happened to me. I had huge family and friendship support. I never went to any of my treatments on my own, or a family member come with me to every single treatment I had to have for my chemo treatment and my radiotherapy, everything I had. And I think that actually gives you a lot of a lift as well, because someone is giving up their special time to come with you and supporting you. And sometimes you'd be there for 6 hours or something, and we might start playing cards or something, but as you progress, you get exhausted, so you just end up sleeping. And they stay there sitting, with you, which is amazing. And I think that helps you as well when you do have a great support network.
I think that's such a gift. I mean, it really is a gift.
Yeah, it is. And it is
a gift even. Actually, I'm thinking how hard that would be. I find it very difficult to receive help, and I know a lot of other people do as well. To know that you're putting somebody out but to be able to receive that is really important. Yeah.
I think that's probably one lesson I've learned along the journey, is that when somebody offers to do something for you, they're offering because they want to help you. And it's good to take them up, even if you don't take them up at that moment, but you just say to them, thank you, that's awesome, and I'd love you to help me. And you can go back to them another time, because you might just want them to make you a meal or something. That's easy, can be done. But I think when you want to draw on your own strength within, you have to find something that helps you to cope. And for me, it was the breathing. So I learned very early on how important the breath was. That was probably through physio. And I think when you're first being diagnosed with something, it's actually pretty scary. And you kind of know where you may be heading, but you don't want to acknowledge it sometimes. So you do have to work on something for yourself. So I used to go for a lot of my investigations, whatever, and I just deep breathe and focus on the breathing and try and cut out anything else. And I do that even now, because I am an anxious person at times. Not that many people would know that, but I do get anxious, and I find things build up a bit, and I worry a little bit about things. So I find breathing is very important to help just calm you down. And I think that's also why I like walking or getting outside, because I think if you are also a bit anxious, it's important to have activity to go and do.
Yeah, I think that's very true. It's the physical exertion. It's also the distraction of an activity that can help you reset.
But I think it's also being, you are getting your endorphins going, and that helps you to lift your spirit a wee bit. And I think it's hard sometimes to go out to do it, but you just have to say to yourself, I need to do some exercise, whether it's just walking up and down your passageway at home. That's how I started off after my chemo. I was very sick for a long time, and I just started walking up and down our passageway. Luckily, we had a long one. And and then it was walking out the door, going to the gate, and then down the road a block, just house by house. So you just have to set yourself tiny wee goals. It doesn't have to be big goals, because the little goals, I think, lead to big goals. So it's just little steps, and don't beat yourself up. You have to do little things. Yeah.
That's so true. You build on your wins, don't you? You've got to start small.
Yeah.
And once you do that, once you get to the end of the hallway, you think, okay, I'm ready. I think I can walk down to the letterbox or down to the end of the street, and it grows. And then the next thing you know, you're walking at 1,000 kilometre Camino.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. So I think
building on those wins.
And I think it's also those little wins are really important to celebrate, because you can't celebrate all those little wins when you get to the end, because that's a different celebration at the end. And sometimes you get to the end and it's almost a little bit, you feel a bit flat, because you've had this amazing goal to get there. And it's the journey that's actually been probably the most exciting time, rather than getting the goal at the end.
That's interesting. Yes. Even the anticipation of the journey that sort of propels you to keep going with the rehab, or, that searching, you're going to get to the next goal. Yeah. And it's interesting that when you get to the end of it. Yes. It's a little bit of an anticlimax.
Yeah, maybe. Sometimes. I think sometimes you arrive at wherever you're going to arrive and you think, oh, I've done all this planning and this is it, So, it's the little wins, I think, that are important along the way. Yeah.
To celebrate. I've watched you prioritize social connection over the years. I've been Jo's neighbour for 3 years now. And every Sunday afternoon, it seems, you get together with your family. You do prioritise that social connection, and you prioritise family, both of which, by the way, are principles that are very associated with longevity. And what does that social connection mean to you, and how can others sort of incorporate those traditions when they might feel a bit awkward maybe to begin with?
I think, today people are just very busy in life, and your children, when they grow up and, go on their own lives, they're really busy in their lives too. And we've always, even when my kids were little and were at school, we'd have Tuesday nights would be a games night, but they had to get their homework done and we had to have dinner early and then we'd play games. So it's kind of, you can't just suddenly start some of these things. You've got to slowly build on it. And so because we've always all played games so much and loved being together, and I mean, sometimes we don't love, we're all fighting or arguing over who's won what piece or whatever, but it's all part of learning. I think it's also learning to lose. Everyone always wants to win, but sometimes you have to learn to lose. Some people find that very difficult to do.
Well, of course,
in my family.
Some people are more competitive than others.
Oh, there's always people who are competitive. But I think, you only have one family and your family is very, very important to you. And you do need to try and spend time with family if you can. They bring you lots of joy and then you find out what they've been up to and what they're doing and have a few laughs, a few tears, good food, some wine or whatever you want, glass of water, who cares, cup of tea. It's all important. But family is very important to me. I've had I have quite a close family and I'm lucky to have a little bit of family here. So it's really important to have that time. And I think we all need to make time. Someone has to organise it because the days just whiz by and you don't get together as families.
It's a very good point. Somebody does have to organise it. Is it always you that organises? Is there always just one person who takes that on, or do you think that could be shared?
I think it can be shared, and I think generally it should be shared. Generally one person might instigate it and get it going or whatever, and then as you feel like you can let the reins go, let someone else take over a wee bit as well, and then everyone can share. But I'm probably the one who does organise it mostly. Did you think that?
Yes. I'm thinking that.
Probably. I mean, we have it set, but I'm probably the one each week who kind of gets it organised and what's happening, or
Yes, I'm thinking similarly with the midweek drinks that you organise. That you sort of started that during COVID, I believe, and
yes,
we're fortunate enough to come down and join you sometimes. We find it difficult to commit to every week, but you really do prioritise that time. And I admire it genuinely.
Thank you, Ros. Yeah.
Because we all need that connection, and it's sometimes in the busyness of life, it can be just easier just to hunker down, at home and just, pull up Netflix or whatever.
I definitely think COVID was quite an experience for lots of people. And I think a lot of people were very lonely during COVID. And luckily we do live near the beach, very close to the beach. We can just walk down the laneway, which is very nice. And because we were all isolated in our homes and things, but we could get together outside, that's how we kind of started with a couple of friends, good friends. You take down some food and some drinks, whatever you want, soup if it's cold in winter. There's not many weeks we haven't been. We actually didn't go this week because it's been pouring with rain and it was cold and wet and windy. So sometimes then we might meet at someone's home, but generally we actually all like to be outside. So if it's cold, we rug up, we have our beanies, we have our hot drinks, we have, and it's, I just love that connection because sometimes you have good friends, but you don't get to see them often. And we just catch up once a week and, it's lovely, yeah. And then we have a few ring-ins every now and again to come and change it up and bring us some Portuguese tarts. That's Ros.
Of course.
But it's great fun to get with people. And I think it's nice to laugh and have fun too. I think we all sometimes get a bit too serious and laugh.
Jo, you also volunteer. So as if you haven't got enough on in your own life, you volunteer and give your time to a cause. What does volunteering mean to you?
I grew up on a farm and my mum used to volunteer for an organisation called the Loyal Women's Guild, which is very similar to the Australian CWA. And so we were always a bit involved with that and helping and, doing things like that. So I think volunteering has always been part of our family motto, I suppose, in a way. If someone's in need, you always would give them a hand. But When I moved up, I thought I'd like to volunteer somewhere, but didn't want to really commit every week to a certain day or whatever, because I do have a very changing lifestyle every day. And so I found an amazing charity called Share the Dignity, which is very close to my heart. It's a women's organization in that it's for period poverty, and it's been started by Rochelle Courtenay, and it's an amazing effort that she's put into this little organization. So I can do as little or as much as I can, and it's not every single week, and we have certain drives through the year, and that's what I can join in with that for a month or something. But it's giving back to someone else less fortunate than yourselves. I think we all should be very grateful for what we have, because sometimes we are often just looking for more, but really we don't need more. We have enough. There's plenty of other people that could do with something. So you meet amazing people when you volunteer, the people you are giving the items to or whatever, the charities, the people who donate the goods, the people who work within the organisation, going to fabulous events. I went to an amazing Dignity this year down in the town hall, and just I think it expands your life a bit, opens your eyes that there are many people who are less fortunate than yourself. And I think volunteering is actually one of those things that's very good for your soul. And I think that's been proven, that if you can volunteer and give to somebody else, it gives you a lift, but you're lifting many others as well.
Yeah, that's right. There is actually science behind it. People who volunteer are happier and live longer.
Oh, yay, I'm going to live longer.
Exactly. The physical exercise routine of your week is, to me as an onlooker, even as a registered nurse, is extraordinary. As a 69-year-old woman, what you engage in is something probably every day. Would I be right in?
Yeah.
Can you tell us about the physical activity that you're involved in?
Yes, I generally go have a yoga class, 2 Pilates classes a week, maybe a weights class, either at the gym or whatever, and then I will go to aqua probably twice a week, and I would walk. I would go for a walk most days, even if it's just a 20-minute, 10-minute walk, but I generally like to try and get a couple of 5-kilometer walks in a week.
Yes, yeah.
So just pace it up a bit, spread it out a bit. Some days I don't do anything. Generally, I just feel like I need to get out and just clear the head, get the body moving.
Do you ever have days when you think, I'm too tired, I actually can't be bothered?
Yes, I do.
You do?
Yeah,
and
definitely.
What do you do with those moments?
So I do have trouble with fatigue, actually. It is an ongoing issue for me, which I've, over the years, it's from, having multiple things. So I do have to, balance myself quite carefully. But if I'm having a day where I'm really tired, I just might even just do some exercises on the bed. Just do some stretches,
Love that.
just do a little bit. You don't have to do a massive amount every day. And the other thing, which is awesome sometimes, is just put a song on and have a dance around the house, and sing a song. You get a lot of exercise just doing that for 3 minutes.
Yeah.
So, you don't have to do a huge amount. It's just doing a little bit of something, I think, because we do sit a lot in our day. And we do need to get up out of sitting, because that's not good to sit for too long.
Just touching on that, you do an activity on Facebook, is that right?
Yeah.
Tell us about that, because that's just to get people up out of the chair for 5 minutes. And
so I do it once a week. I do have a business, and I have a private Facebook group. So on there I do a live just once a week, and it's just 5 minutes of exercise. It's just to get you out of your chair, do a few stretches, mostly in standing or even from the chair, doing a few exercises from the chair. I just kind of, my daughter said to me, Mum, you've got so much experience, that you can share with people. And I thought, it's all there, but you don't always think that you actually know a lot or have much to share. But so I challenged myself to do a live on Facebook, and that's what I did. And now, I really enjoy it. It's only once a week. I do a little live and do some exercises. So, Yeah, it's fun.
Terrific. It's ticking so many boxes. It's learning new skills. You've got to navigate
Yes.
alive on Facebook.
Mm.
You've got
If
to put yourself out there, for people. You might not feel like doing it at the time that you've scheduled it.
if you'd said to me a
And
year
it's giving
ago,
to people.
Jo, go and do a live on Facebook, I would have looked at you and said, what's a live?
We're all learning. We're all learning technology and social media.
I know,
Yeah.
but it's
What
look,
is it called? Well, if people wanted to join in, anybody can. Is that right? Or you
Yes,
need to
yes.
join the group.
You need to join the group, which is called Living Well, Aging Gracefully. There's a couple of us who run the group, and you can search for the group and you can ask for an invite. We'd love you to come and join and see what we have with our little business, and also come and see me live and do your exercises or catch up with them. Yeah.
Beautiful.
You're very welcome. Love anyone
Living
to
well, aging gracefully.
Yes.
Yes. I think you are the poster girl for that, Jo.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ros. That's very kind of you.
So looking back over your life, over your health journey in particular, what have been the keys for the resilience that you have developed over the years? And any last advice for our listeners?
I think someone once said to me, a piece of advice was, never give up, and there's always hope. And I think with the changing world, there's always going to be new innovations, new things happening. So always have hope. I think it's a kind of a driving force that you always feel like, it's going to be all right. And every day I have a little mantra that I got from Mel Robbins, actually, and that's just, I'm safe, I'm okay, and I'm loved. And I think, those three little things are what I say to myself often through the day. If I'm feeling a little bit anxious as well with the breathing, I'll do it. But I just think there's always hope. Just never give up on hope, and little steps. You have to just take little steps to get to where you want to go, because as little steps grow to big steps.
Absolutely.
Is that...
I couldn't agree more. And the wisdom and the nuggets that have been, throughout this conversation, I will put in the show notes because, thank you. I really appreciate you sharing
thank you.
and just speaking out of your own experience. And there's a lot we can learn from your experience. So thank you.
Thank you, Ros. Thanks for having me. It's been a pleasure.